this could all explode and send fuel everywhere, so need to keep half an eye on that too. Fuel pressure started climbing, got to about 60 and then dropped back to about 50. So this fuel pump is possibly on its last legs. This pump is narrower. It's 2mm narrower, so it doesn't actually click into place. Probably just gonna pull the pin here and order a 255 hat, like just a complete drop-in assembly. Just to make my life a lot easier. Alright guys, so it's Monday morning now, car's still on the dyno. Lucky we're pretty quiet today, so at work, so basically pulled the pin on this dog. Decided even if I got a suitable pump, like this hat's pretty trashed and whatnot, I'm going to fuel surge setup anyway later, so just got myself another stock pump. Got it from Repco, pretty cheap, so I'll throw that in now and just do another pull, see what the fueling does, and see, after I sort of went home and thought about it more, I actually wonder if my injectors are just out of flow as well, because if your injector duty cycle is too high, it will drop fuel pressure because the injectors are just wide open the whole time, and it can actually give a slight, it makes it seem like maybe the fuel pump's dropping off as well. So I'll have another look at the log real quick now and see what the duty cycle was doing if I actually logged it, and also yeah, get this pump in and do another pull and see what happens. Rookie mistake right here. No, I won't. Forgot to put that dog on. Gonna have to pull all that back off, put that dog on, and then screw it down. Thought something was a bit funny. Screwing straight into the plastic didn't seem right. This is the log before I made any tune changes. What I forgot to look at, injector duty cycle was already hitting 100% at like 4,000. So it seems as soon as it gets to about 3,300 and the run starts, it just goes bang out of control. Probably because it's running too much boost now for the stock NA injectors, which injectors are the same as turbo, but yeah, even stock turbo injectors, about 8 pound is about all you want to run. This thing spikes up to about 10, tapers down to about 8. It's a bit of a case of the chicken or the egg. However, in these, because they just go commanded air fuel ratio, they don't actually know that the injectors have run out really, because it's not monitoring its air fuel ratios during a pull like a Mustang or something would. So it's not going to just keep trying to crank injector duty cycle into it unless you're commanding it with the fueling. And if I open my log after I added more fuel to it, duty cycle actually goes even higher. So it's definitely out of injector. However, that might be partially due to the fact the fuel pump wasn't that great as well. Anyway, we'll ramp it as is now with the new fuel pump in, check pressure. The reason also the pressure can drop off is if the duty cycle passes 100 on the injectors, they don't close. So it's actually really hard for the fuel pump to keep pressure because it's bypassing, like there's no restriction because the injectors are just wide open. The only restriction is the size of the injector. So that's probably why the pressure was actually dropping off. Having said that though, that fuel pump was pretty fucked anyway, so it's not a bad idea to have changed it, and it only costs about 180 bucks for a new one. So anyway, I'll ramp this. We may find we're still lean, and if that's the case, I'm going to have to just probably pull fuel out of it because I don't want to go throwing a set of injectors in this when I've got another set in the white car anyway, which will be going in this eventually, so there's no point changing them. So anyway, I'll rip into that run now and see what the AFRs do. Right, so just getting her up to speed. We'll see what this fuel pressure does. We'll also keep an eye on the AFR on the dyno. I won't be able to film that and the fuel pressure. So the fuel pressure still drops off. It's definitely because we're out of injector. Duty cycle's still off the chart, but the AFRs on that was much better. I can live with that for now. It's definitely out of injector, so we'll crank some boost out of it, but that's the end of my lunch break, so I'm going to have to do this after work now. I'll catch that back up shortly. I think I've lowered the boost, flashing that file in now. I'll give it a ramp, see how she goes. Once the boost lowers, I'll probably have to fix up the fueling, but anyway, I don't really know if I've done the right thing or not, so I'm not going to show how I did it. If it works, I'll show you what I did. Also on that that last pull with the new fuel pump, that pressure was much better, but it did start going backwards a little bit right at the top of the pull, and that is probably because the injectors are just wide open. So we'll see how this goes with the less boost and see if this pressure stops dropping off, if we can keep these injector duty cycle less than 100%. So I should have taken some boost out of it. I'll film the fuel pressure again during this run, just to see if it doesn't drop off like it did on the run before, like ever so slightly up top. And I've got boost logged on the dyno, and I'm just going to watch the AFR manually. Alright, so definitely took some boost out of it. Right, so we're going to be pulling some fuel out of it. We're going to pull from 3200 all the way to about 4200. We're going to pull about 8%, 9%. Yeah, about 9%. And then we're going to smooth those down to 2700 and up to about 5400. And then that should get that fueling pretty perfect. Just going to have to check out now what cam position that is, so we can make those changes in that air mass table. Alright, this should be our last run. Taking a little bit of duty cycle out of the, taking a little bit of fueling out of it at Watt. She was just a little bit fat on that last run with the boost out, so I'll keep the eye on the fuel pressure gauge, make sure nothing funky going on still. It did drop a little bit low on that last run, but she was a little fat, so hoping that the duty cycle should stay under 100% now. Definitely went the wrong way on that fuel table. Bloody whoops. My bad. Every other car, you want to add fuel, you add numbers. You want to take fuel, you take numbers. Barra's backwards. You want to add fuel, you take numbers. You want to take fuel, you add numbers. I went down, should have gone up. Reversed my change, I've gone up. So as you can see on the run, she was very fat, the pink run. So I immediately realised I fucked up and made changes, and we'll flash it in, and now we'll do another run. Alright, so take two. Now that we've taken fuel out rather than added fuel, let's see if this works. Better. Still need to take a little bit more fuel from about 4200, smooth that up a little bit, make it a little bit neater. But yeah, definitely gained a little bit more mid-range power. And the duty cycle is a little bit all over the place, but it's pretty well keeping under 100, just going over 100%. So that's definitely working much better. I'll clean up that parts where it's still a little bit fat, and this should be resting right at about 100% duty cycle at its worst point, maybe like about 95%. Still not ideal. You generally want to keep her under about 80, 85%. But considering this is like a stock setup, I'm just trying to keep boost out of it. And considering this turbo is actually really quite noisy, this is doing quite well to make decent power for what it is. It's basically a 14-year-old turbo conversion that's still running. Alright, hopefully this is the last time we have to do a pull. Fueling is pretty much spot on. That's about as good as I'm going to be able to get a BA That's pretty good actually, to be honest. Dead on 11.8 the whole run, and 230 kilowatts. Picked up quite a fair bit of mid, taking all that fatness out of it. The AFR does affect the power a fair bit. If it's too fat, it does not make power. So yeah, the fueling on that was great. Looking back at the video, the fuel pressure was quite stable too. I'm pretty happy with that. Check out boost. Boost is spot on, 6.4. Tips in about 6.4. Peaks at about 7.5 midway through the run. Goes back to about 6.5 at the end. The duty cycle hit about 109%, but considering the fuel pressure is not dropping off significantly anymore, I'm pretty happy to run that. Finally pull this thing off the dyno and give a bit of a bloody clean. Well deserved. So there we go, guys. The 236 run, that's when we first unblocked the cat. Sorry, when we first replaced the cat with the 100% EPA legal cat. She was running about 13.7 on the run. Very lean. Then a couple of months later, about 3 months later, I ran it up again and confirmed still lean. The grey. Then after a couple of pulls today, we got it pretty much dead on, about 11.7, 11.8. A little bit fat up top, a little bit fat down low. I don't really care about getting it any better than that. That's good enough for today, and that will have us sorted. That will be perfectly fine. Well, I've been doing this in between jobs at work during the day, so day's finally over, so I'm a little bit cooked today because it's been a bit of a big one. But anyway, pulling it off the dyno now. I'm going to give it a quick pressure clean, get some of this schmutz off it, and yeah, that's probably the end of the video. So the video outro will just be me bloody hosing all the shit off it and giving another report and letting you know how that goes. We'll get that situated in the wash bay, and that'll be all. Thanks for watching, liking, subscribing, all that jazz, and I'll catch you on the next video. Business here, though. This wheel cleaner I'm using is pretty bloody good. It's Auto Smart. This wheel looks disgusting. I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Front wheel. The same wheel again, one application and one scrub. Bloody beautiful.